been out west in the Mount Isa area and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-mm.
So I keep saying that you'll need a great big crowbar to get me out of here. So that's good. And my job is head of
Not a problem.
and I also was saying before I looked at the library. So
Cool, cool. So what?
my passions are math. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say my passions are maths, and I really like IT, even though I'm not very good at it.
Oh, none of that. I'm sure you're well, in I guess that's a beautiful way to get us segued into the topic. So we're here to actually discuss an app called Scratch. Scratch has been present in the XOs since inception. So ever since we had Sugar, that's been made available. And now that we've moved on to Android, the Scratch app is called Scratch Junior. And what I wanted to ask Leah, especially since you've got all of these XOs, so how many XOs did you say your school had again?
Well, I think it's in the vicinity of 750. So
Mm-mm-mm.
every child from prep to year 6
Fantastic.
has an expo,
Excellent.
and every teacher aide, everyone who's here.
Perfect. Perfect. So basically, it's a massive adaptation that the teachers have to go through, isn't it? They had to make sure that they're comfortable with the new technology that got handed to them.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and we've had varying degrees of uptake. We
Mm-mm.
had, what's really interesting is we had one teacher who really was reluctant
Mm-mm.
to get started and everything. And then this year we've been using Scratch with her year level, and she just loves it now. And they've
Awesome.
been doing coding and all sorts of stuff. So she's actually one of our, starry people. She's gone from the least interested to one of the people doing great stuff.
Awesome, awesome. And so there definitely is a relationship between the engagement of the teacher with the technology with the success of the XO's implementation in the classroom, correct?
Yes, the kids will love them in spite of their teachers. Um, yeah, and they'll bring them down to the library and use them, and they'll have them before school and all that sort of stuff, because we allow students to take them home if they've paid like a deposit on it, or
Like a
the
security
high.
deposit or something.
Yeah, and then so otherwise, yes, it is much better if the teacher does have a go, even if all they do is learn about one or two apps and encourage that in the classroom. That will lead to other things.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you've basically told us the benefit the Exos has given your students, but what challenges have you found when you guys were implementing the XOs and the new technology basically to the school? What challenges have you come across?
Um, Teacher uptake is one of them, because as I think I'm speaking to teachers, so they would know how busy teachers are in their lives,
Mm,
and it was just another thing. Um, the other thing is they found that sugar are a little bit different, and so if you're looking at something that's a bit unfamiliar, they took a step back.
mm,
Whereas the people who jumped in and had a look at it realised that it actually wasn't that difficult.
yes, exactly.
Um, but what we're really looking forward to is changing to the Android build,
Mm, mm,
so
mm.
that it is more familiar to people. And we also have parents, like we had a parent workshop last term,
Mhm.
and they were so keen to come and find out about it. And I think we'll have more parents who are interested when it becomes looking at something that's a bit more familiar to them.
Awesome, awesome. So it's all about, I guess, persuading the teachers that yes, this is definitely worthwhile to do. Hang
Yeah.
on, Rula, would you be? I'm just going to quickly read your comment here. It says, "Our college in Jurac at Queensland are having a PD to all teachers about XOs, especially new teachers, and looking forward to it." Oh, fantastic! When about are you actually having that Professional development, organized ruler.
Tomorrow, Friday in the afternoon.
Brilliant, brilliant. Why does that sound familiar? Hang on. Oh yes, that's because I'm the one hosting it. So sorry. I was like, oh, that's exciting. I wish I could be a part of it. Wait a minute, I am. Never mind. Ugh.
Yeah, we're all excited.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm looking forward to helping you guys out, and with the skills that we're going to get shown by Leah today, hopefully we can incorporate that onto the training on Friday afternoon as well, eh? Okay. So the next series of questions that I've got is, what activity on the expo are you currently excited about, especially with what you guys are doing with robotics?
Um, well, the reason we haven't moved over to the Android is we were waiting for Scratch, because Scratch is something that we're using really well in our school, particularly with the younger students. Although I've got an example I can show you of older students. We were looking at the Australian curriculum technologies, and the students using Scratch for their problem solving and their designing stuff really just hits that whole curriculum area so well. And we've had children, designing using Lego robotics kits, making games, and also little cartoon type things, animations, using Scratch, and it's been really, really good.
Cool, cool. Now, would you
Want to hear more
sorry, go ahead.
want to hear more about curriculum, how we implement it?
Yes, please, because the next question is, one comment I have received, especially here in New South Wales, is this is all well and good, but we know about 21st century learning. How is this going to help us achieve curriculum outcomes?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's pretty easy, because the new Australian curriculum technologies curriculum area has got two subjects, two parts to it. One is design and technologies, which is really like the old design, make, appraise type we're used to using with technology.
Yep.
And then the other one has digital technology. And by using Scratch in the way we've been using it, we're hitting both of those two areas. And what we do is we go through a process, and it will start with giving students a design brief. So I'll use the example of the fairground ride that our grade 3s had to design. So the design brief simply says you'll design a fairground. And then the children then have to decide on their criteria they're going to apply to their design. And so we encourage them to be right at that basic level, deciding what they're looking for in their ride. And so basically the children came up with 4 things. It has to have a sound, it has to be exciting for the person on the ride, it has to be safe, and then they might have one other creative one, and a group might say, my ride needs to be pink. And so then it goes to the next stage, which is the ideation stage, and the students come up with their ideas and they share their ideas. They might even make a little drawing of what they're hoping to produce, etc. Then creation, where the kids are putting it together, they're testing out how it works. Now this is where the teacher then might show them a couple of functions on Scratch, like how to make the axle or whatever it is spin that they're going to attach their ride to. And so the children practice with that, and like the first time they use it, things might go flying everywhere because it spins so fast, and then they have to problem solve to make it go at the right speed and maybe turn the other way and do the things that they want it to do. Once they've got their design constructed, then they need to evaluate it and make judgments about how well their design meets their criteria. So, example, use a numerical score. So, for example, on a scale of 1 to 5, they might say, well, my ride scores 4 for sound because it has some really cool sounds on it. We recorded ourselves screaming, and that sort of thing. And then we give our ride a 4 for excitement because it spins really fast, and the people who'd be on the ride would be having a great time.
Mm-mm.
But the problem is that they only scored 2 for safety because someone went flying off the ride sometimes. And so that's a problem with their design. And then when they go and they look at it, I've got some examples if we put the camera on later.
Yep.
The criteria of pink, they'll go, well, there wasn't many pink materials, so I actually couldn't fulfill that criteria at all. Okay, so once they've done that and they've looked at then maybe how they could improve their design to make it more safe, because that was where they scored quite low, and they might even have to change their criteria because pink wasn't a very good criteria. They might change it to, oh, well, I want it just to be colourful.
So basically,
and so once they do that, sorry.
Well, I was about to say, basically what you've done is you've given the students an open-ended task, and you gave them guidelines to follow, and they've basically filled in their own criteria, created a Lego amusement park ride, and judged their creation using the guidelines that they've written up themselves.
That's absolutely correct, yeah. And then they can even change the guidelines if they find that they weren't very good, like changing it from pink to colourful. And then they just repeat that process when they try and, you could stop there, or you can repeat the process by changing their design or their criteria to make it better, and then evaluating it at the end, of course.
So just to visualize, I had the pleasure of seeing the final product. Sorry to cut you off there, Leah, but for the others who haven't seen it yet, what Leah is talking about is there's this Lego construction set that they've invested in, and the students can basically create an amusement park ride out of Lego and use their XOs to control it. Is that about right, Leah?
Yep. That's right. I can, if you can help me turn on my camera, I can actually show them how it works.
Of course. So teachers...
and then, of course, I was going to say the actual coding part then hits that other technology in the Australian curriculum, the second part of technologies curriculum, the digital technologies, where they're actually giving instructions and creating a mini program for the activity.
That's pretty cool.
All my exos have gone to sleep.
Oh no. You'd have to just quickly turn one back on. That's cool. That's all right. Okay. So what you do now, so when you're ready, Leah?
Yep.
I'm going to make you as the
I click on the camera there?
Yep, just click on the camera.
Okay. And you'll see my ugly face.
Oh, none of that. Okay. There you are. Okay.
I'm here.
Hang on, before you continue.
Okay.
Teachers, can you guys all see Leah's webcam? Just raise your hand if you're. Yep, Kelly. Thanks, Rula. Nari, can you see?
Yes, I can see Leah. Yep.
Awesome. Continue. Thanks, Chantal.
Okay. I had to restart the one that's actually hooked up to a game, so I'll just have to find Scratch again. They put all these mad backgrounds on them and I can't find it.
Well, you're actually fortunate. I was trained in the Android device because when I came into One Education, we were phasing out sugar, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna be just training on Android." I was like, okay. So I had to do my own training for sugar.
All right. Yes.
Okay. So.
All right. Show you. I've got 3 things here to show you.
Go for it.
This first one is, can you see it? It's an example of what Year 1 students did, and they didn't do it with me, but what they have created there, those are all the that's the coding, sorry, there in the middle, and they've just used little pictures, and I think it's like very much like Scratch Junior, and they had some criteria where they had to have two figures, and they could make them move and talk to each other and that sort of thing. So that's like a little animation that they had to do. This one is year 6. They had to create a game, and they were able to, you might not be able to see it, I can make the game take up the whole screen, but that's their coding here, you can see in the middle. And it's a bit like Pac-Man, I guess. There's a little fish that swims around in that maze, and when they touch the wall, when the fish touches the wall or touches one of the things that's floating around in there, it goes back to the start. So they all had to do that, and pretty much the teachers really just let them go because it is just so easy for them to work out, and they're not scared to do trial and error. So they just try something. If it works, well, that's great, you know. If it doesn't,
Leah, could you try
something else?
Press the spacebar button to see if it actually starts the program.
This one, the one with the game.
I think so. Is it? I think it's spacebar that starts it all off.
I was showing and now I've forgotten. Oh, hang on, I've got to go to full stage. Come on. Oh, it's gone to sleep again.
Oh no.
I'd have to wake it up. Oh, here we go. This looks better. Ah, sorry. There we go. That's the game, and when it's bigger, and hopefully it will start now. Yeah. See, I have to move the little fish along the line that you probably can't see, and use the arrows to make it go up. If it touches the side, it sends it back to the start. That's just one of the children's things and games that they designed. And then we've got our little fairground. I'll show you what it looks like. Oh dear, it's gone to sleep again. Oh, guess what? While we've been talking, the batteries run out. But these were year 3 children, and this child has, you can see they've used a mixture of just junk materials and the Lego stuff, and this thing actually spins around, but sometimes the people fall off, so it's not quite as safe as it should be. But what we did was we showed the children how to code in Scratch to make this spin, and they took it from there. It was really, really good. And honestly, the engagement was amazing. I was watching these children just working and concentrating on this so well.
And I think that's what 21st century learning is all about. It's not preparing them to have jobs for what we have right now, but preparing them for the jobs that they might have in the future, isn't it?
That's right, you know, and not being afraid to have a go and think things through. And I think that's really, really important. And that, I mean, I think that applies everywhere, especially in my first love, which is maths. You know, just having a go.
Exactly.
And problem solving is so important.
All right, so teachers, I'm going to open the floor now before we have a go at Scratch Junior. So teachers, any comments, any questions that you'd like to that you'd like to shoot over to Miss O'Neill? Just let us know. Everyone's unmuted, so you guys can just speak, and it's a fairly cozy environment. Everyone's open to talk. So I'll open the floor. Go ahead, teachers. Speak up if you'd like to have a question. If you'd like to ask a question. Nari, do you have?
I thought you'd pick on me. Leah, roughly how much did you invest in the Lego robotics?
Honestly, yeah, it is a very good question. I can't remember. I do have that somewhere. Hang on, my proposal. I still have it in my hand. What we did was, because we knew our teachers might be a little bit scared, we actually got somebody who knew about using Scratch and was also a teacher, and was happy to come for an incursion. And he came and worked with particularly the Year 3s who were doing this fairground one. And he also did a workshop for the teachers to help them get started. We thought that was a really good investment because that gave them the courage then, because they sat down with him afterwards and looked at rubrics for assessing children and how they do it, and he really got them going on it, and then they felt confident to try it out for themselves. And then we purchased some Lego materials, but the thing is that you actually don't need a huge amount, because we always have 2 children working with 1 kit, so we have 15 kits, and really anything else you need other than the basic things that turn and stuff, you can actually make out of junk materials and stuff. You don't actually have to have Lego. And I'm just trying to see where my bottom line was. It was about $3,000. But we're planning on spending a lot more because we love it. There's storytelling kits and stuff that we love.
I can see how much the passive non-learners would be engaged in the robotics side of it. And I'm looking at our school. Yeah. Sorry, Leah. Just having.
Keep going.
Yes, I've had a quick look at Scratch Junior myself on the XO as well as iPads, because we have iPads in the school, and I can see where that will be a good starting point for coding as far as the low literacy students that we have, and then they can extend to Scratch from there.
You're absolutely right. It's very supportive because there's not so many blocks for them to use, and they're very self-explanatory.
Yes, because it's quite visual and not a lot of stuff that they have to read. It's yeah, easy to use. I played around with it after the last webinar, and I thought, well, you know, I know nothing about coding.
That's right. And the kids are even less reticent. They just get in and have a go.
Exactly.
Cool.
Well, thanks for that info.
So
You're welcome.
Any other comments, teachers? So Rula or Chantal? Kelly?
I'm waiting tomorrow. Our teachers will ask you questions, John.
That's what I was kind of hoping, you know, you can help me out. You're here in the webinar, you learn, and you can help me answer tomorrow.
I'm very impressed with Leah. I hope, you know, our students will get to the stage.
Well, you're about an hour and a half away from each other, I think. How far is Jurat from Brisbane?
20 minutes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, about an hour away from each other. We might organize a technology meet for One Education schools in Brisbane one time, because I do plan to visit a bit more often in that area, so we can organize for more of a meet, and we can do some massive collaboration there. So,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, great.
So just to make sure, you know, even though it's in a different state, and I mean, New South Wales gets a bit of a spoil from us because I'm a Westie. I live in the Greater West, so it's easy for me to go to the other schools. But I'd love to let you guys know we are planning to do a tour as well. We want to promote all of the apps that we've got. We want to encourage everybody to collaborate with each other. And I'm not sure if you know, but we've got a new device coming out as well called Infinity, and we want to promote that to all of the schools as well.
Oh, that's very good.
Cool. So teachers, the next step now, the next question I do have, and this is the last question for Leah, and after that I'll take over the webinar. Is Leah, when it comes to these coding. What impact do you see this program has on students as they progress into onto matriculation?
Oh, well, it actually gets them thinking about coding and about how what instruction they have to be so explicit with their instructions. So if I tell it to something to turn, I actually have to tell it to stop as well. You know, so they learn all those things that will actually help them later on when they're getting into more difficult programs. The second benefit is that they have a great ability to work things out, and they're not scared to do that. And the third thing is because children, they work in pairs to do this, they're learning to collaborate and work together. So that's, that's three of the main benefits. And then of course that whole, how we've always done, well, I don't know if you have another stage, but we've done the design, make, appraise thing for, design a lunchbox or design this, that and the other. This just brings that whole process to life because it's just, they can actually see it working.
Exactly right. I guess the main reason I asked that is I'm quite encouraged. Like I said, I'm from the Greater West of Sydney, and with that comes the stigma of being from a low socioeconomic background myself. But I'd like to have everybody get encouraged, not simply because you're from a low socioeconomic background. It means that there's opportunity for you to be, to pull yourself out of it as well. And just, I guess, having a piece of technology like the XO can really bring that home and give you a bit of a more level playing field. So, all right.
Yeah. And every child can have one in their hand.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, Leah. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And now for the next phase, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly talk about Scratch Junior. So what I'll do is I'll quickly get my XO to the just to the Scratch program. But before I do that, I'll show you where you can download it. You can download it using Google Play. If you don't have Google account, you can create one and then download it there. It is free as well. Sorry. If you just like to have it on your XO, you can find it on App Universe, which is the portal that we have for the XOs. And hang on a second, I'm just going to quickly refresh this. Okay, so teachers, a lot of the apps that you've heard us talk about would be on the App Universe already. Okay, so Scratch, I think it's already part of the installed. I've installed it already here. So Scratch is already here on my XR, and it's right there. If you don't have it on your XO, you'll be able to find it on the Available tab instead of the Installed. All you need to do is tap it, and it's going to have an Install button right there. So just click on Install, and off you go. Now, let's open it and let's have a bit of a play. Sorry. Frog in my throat. Right, so pressing the home button gets you to the main coding area. And as you see, I've already had a couple of projects that I've done. So I'm going to go to the project number 1. What I've done here is I've got two characters. I've got the zebra and I've got Scratch as my trusty lion. And I wanted Scratch, as you can see, he's hiding in the bushes right there. I wanted him to pounce on the zebra. Okay, so what I've done is I've made some movement commands, as you can see. Hang on, let me get rid of that drawing. As you can see down here, teachers, you've got your movement commands here. Okay, so this is movement. Right? And if you press the purple button, this is for character. Okay. The green button is for sound. It's not as easy as you think writing using a mouse. But there you go. That's for sound. Now this button over here, that orange looking one, sorry. This is for time. This is to stop. This is to speed up. And this is for repeat. Okay. So if you have a look at what Zebra commands, what the commands my Zebra has. So if you notice, I pressed on Zebra and his icon comes up. And I said, I want you to go forward 1 and I want you to go down 1. Okay. It might help if I put the square grids on. Okay. So if I press the green flag here, you can see my Zebra move down a bit. Yeah. But the thing is, I'm not too happy with that. I actually want to have the Zebra move a bit further forward. Sorry. So I'm going to make that 3 instead of 2. Okay. So let's start that again. Okay. So in this iteration, my cat, my little lion, didn't actually catch his prey. So let's go to Scratch. I'm going to go and pick on the cat now. So I'm happy with my Zebra. He managed to get away from Scratch, but I want Scratch to actually pounce on the line. So I'm gonna then click on Scratch's icon. I'm going to press on there. He missed it. So I think I need to make him move a little bit faster. So if you notice, the green flag is, you see there's a little stop sign there. So I'm going to press it again, and the green flag turns into a stop sign, because you can actually stop the animation, and then you can do a bit more analyses and just correct what you want to correct. Okay. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Okay, so back to start. This button here is basically to reset position. So I'm going to go and press that. Okay, so if I make him jump after, let's make that 8. Okay, let's try that again. All right, gotcha. So that's a little bit better for me. So for you to actually fully play it, you just press this button here, and it's going to go full screen. Press the green flag, and off they go. Nice and simple. It's a bit quirky, but I'm pretty sure if you give this to a year 1 student, a grade 1 student, they'll be able to look at it and goes, oh, I know what to do. So just an encouragement, teachers. I only started playing with Scratch. In total, it'll be less than an hour that I've played around with it. But this is what I was able to get onto. In terms of tutorials, there's a built-in tutorial in the software itself. So if I press Scratch Home, you see that little question mark thing there? That actually gives you a tutorial with a video. Sample projects as well. So it doesn't have to be all about what you can do, but it's just giving you some basics, a bit of scaffolding, if you may. So you can use that and give that to the students as the bare bones basics, and the students themselves will figure out the rest. And all you need to do is provide a bit of guidance. So, all right, teachers, that's basically it. It's nice and simple. I encourage everybody to download it on your XOs and have a bit of a play. So any questions so far?
John, with Scratch Junior,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
there only, you can only create 4 pages?
For the
Is
moment,
that
yes.
correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. But because Scratch is a full-fledged coding program, Scratch Junior is designed to give you a taste of it. But unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but fortunately, we've got a great relationship with the guys over at it's called Catrabat. And these are the guys that made Scratch and Scratch Junior. And we've got a great relationship with them. So if enough people actually download Scratch on Android, give us as much feedback as you can. We can send that over to Mitch, to Beth, and to Wolfgang, and they'll be able to change the code to suit us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scratch itself, is that available for the XOs?
On the XO as the Android, I believe if you
Yeah.
use browser instead of Chrome, you'd be able to have a play with it. But it's got some,
Oh,
it's got some,
web-based.
yeah, it's web-based.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We've got some of our students that actually use it, the web-based version, in our computer room at lunchtimes, which is good. Yeah. All right.
Excellent, excellent. So I believe if you actually have a login for Scratch on the web, you can transpose that on the XO as well. I haven't tried it, but it is. I've read somewhere that it is possible. So it's
Right.
always worth giving it a go. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
awesome. So any other questions or comments, teachers? Kelly or Chantal or Rula?
No,
All good so far?
good.
All right,
Yep.
Rula.
All good. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Chantal's just got a question. She's like too busy playing with it. Too busy playing with it. Okay. Awesome. Well, teachers, please join me in thanking Leah O'Neill from Narangba State School for helping us out in this webinar. Thanks again, Leah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Leah.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Awesome. And this concludes the webinar, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. Tune in next week. As again, we've got a different topic every week. And you can find the topics on our forums page. I'm just going to bump that up. Okay, that's not the forums page. Huh. That's embarrassing. Sorry. Okay, so teachers, for the next webinar, what we're doing is we are going to have another special guest next week. So please tune in for the 13th of August, and we'll have Mr. Makilikari talk about collaboration between schools. It's called Tech Meet and Kids Meet, and basically encouraging schools to take advantage of the One Education community. So that'll be great if we can all see you there.
Thanks, John.
All right, have a
Thank
great
you.
evening. Good night, fellas.
Good night.
Thank you, John.
All right, guys. Rula, I'll speak with you tomorrow.
Yes, we will too.
All right, mate.
Thank you very much for your time tonight, and we'll, we'll talk tomorrow.
That's right. Prepare your I'm going to prepare myself for the questions, mate.
Sure, yes.
All right, guys. I'm
Thank
ending.
you.
My pleasure. All right. I'm ending the webinar.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure. All right. And thanks again, Leah. All right, guys. Ending the webinar now. Good night.
Good night.